episode brought to you by the Odyssey Project and the Black Voice. You believe in that work, show some love, show support. If you like what you're hearing, whether it's on the more deeper issues that I do in the office, in the studio, or if it's the lighter side of what I do when I'm in the vehicle with riding with Rick, click the like button, click the share button. If you want to hang around and get notifications, subscribe to the channel. If you believe in the work we're doing in the Black community on a very serious note, show some love and show some support by donating. With that out of the way, hey, another episode. Man, this is a lot lighter than the one earlier today. We talked about these 6 racist cops in Mississippi who tortured these 2 black men for over 2 hours, pouring oil on them, busting eggs over their head, calling them the N-word, shot one in the mouth, supposedly thought he cleared his gun before he fired, shot the guy in the mouth, went through the tongue, down out through the neck. Fortunately, he survived, but struggles with talking. Obviously, extremely traumatic. These people will be struggling with this the rest of their lives. The good news is they were indicted and convicted at federal level. They pleaded guilty. There was so much evidence that they couldn't even go against it. Now they're facing state charges for the state statutes that were violated. And all 6 of them are expected to be found guilty and all of that. So it's good, but it's still so much going on in that area, and we're going to cover some of that stuff. But I want to talk to you right now about this white chick, Starla Soloway, whoever. I mean, up until I start hearing people complain about it, and I saw somebody that I do follow on Twitter. I don't pay attention to a whole lot of stuff, but when it comes to black issues, I do. I found somebody, and I found out that she's actually right here in Houston, and I'm going like, okay, let's see where this goes. And she's supposed to be quote unquote some kind of aspiring model, rapper, whatever, but everything black. She's got the braids, the gestures, and all the stuff that you can pick up, but you can't imitate blackness. But here's the problem. She's going around and she's using our culture, our presentation to basically carve a place for her, because as a white girl, she's just average. So what she thinks she can do is become, quote unquote, this idea of, she's basically a younger Rachel Dolezal. Just, I'm gonna pull it off. But then what happens is when she gets called on the bull crap, she immediately goes on one of these tangents where she attacks black women. Now, our black women are good enough for you to imitate, but you don't want to get called on how you're imitating it and the responsibility for carrying our culture. But see, here's the problem. I blame us. Stop inviting these people to the freaking cookout. First and foremost, stop inviting. I don't care. I love my white friends because they've been some of the loyal friends. For me to keep them, they've been extremely loyal to me. They've been some people who I could turn to when I was at my worst. They ain't invited to the cookout. They're not invited to the cookout. It's some things you gotta have and cherish and keep so sacred that you protect it at all costs. Our culture, the very essence of who we are, can't just be sported all around as if it belongs to everybody. Now, you don't get to say what somebody can, but you can sit up and say, no, we're not going with that. We're not rolling with that. We're going to call that some BS. We're not showing up. We're not going to like it. We're not going to sit up and subscribe. We're not going to do all these things. We let them in. They cool. They, from the Iggy Azaleas and all these bras that sit up and show up and boom bob and our culture, and then have the audacity to diss the very women they're imitating. I have a problem with it. But what we have to do, and on so many levels, is stop inviting them to the cookout. Stop co-signing their misappropriation of our culture. We need to guard it. It's special, it's sacred, it's something that we should actually cherish, not something that should be so easily shared. Watch them with some of their cultures. Watch how they move, watch how they protect it, watch how they defend it. Not that we would want to move in on it, but other people emulate, and they'll protect it. We just letting everybody in. I remember, man, about 8 years ago, maybe longer than that. Time flies. Could be 18 years ago. That was this big push to ghettoize, for lack of a better term, twerking, without really truly being aware of the historical context and how it can be traced all the way back over to Africa, and that it was not initially a sexualized movement. It was a centralized movement, but it was a movement that was practiced and moved and done, and when nobody trying to, it was a part of our heritage. But what happened is they ghettoized it. So everybody started talking about women who twerk. It didn't stop us, but it stopped a lot, and it made it something that we talked down on. It made it something we called ghetto. We called it ratchet. We called it a bunch of things. We dogged the hell out of it. We distanced ourselves from it. If we wanted to be seen as quote unquote upwardly mobile, we weren't twerking. And I'm talking about our women. Unfortunately, there are some guys twerking too, but I'm talking predominantly about our women. They weren't twerking. They out there, if they was doing it in the privacy with their man or whatever and stuff like that, but they weren't doing it out, and they, and all this stuff, all the stuff that is something we identify with and everything. Now, here's the thing. We let them define something that belonged to us. That's not the worst part. The worst part is, after they did it, they start opening up twerk studios. After they sit up and told us that it was ghetto, drove us off our square, they took twerking and made it a multi-million-dollar a year business, opening twerk studios, and I saw all kind of crazy stuff happening after that. That was this one white woman, I can't remember what her studio was, but she had hired a black twerk teacher and then fired the teacher because she said she wasn't twerking right, or she wasn't teaching the technique right. Now, you got a white woman schooling a black woman on twerk techniques for the sake of business. Can't make it up. But guess who invited them to the cookout? When we allowed them to push us off our square, and when we sit up and backed up and then acted just like they wanted us to act, made it a bad thing. The very thing they told us was horrible. Everybody every white housewife in America was in damn somebody's studio doing it. This Starla Soloway needs to be checked. If you following her, stop following her. And call out that BS, man. We cannot have somebody literally hijacking who we are and then coming after us when they get called on something that they're doing that they shouldn't be doing. We are too comfortable with people capitalizing on our genius, on our giftedness, on our beauty, on everything else while we walk around struggling. Stop it. Absolutely stop it. Twist that little cricket up and toss her to the side, and let's do some things to support our girls, our artists, our models, our women. We have got to get it together. Oh, no, I'm not going to stay long, but again, thank you guys for dropping in for another episode of Ride with Rick. I'm about to get out of here, try to get unwind. It's been a rough couple of weeks, man. It's been crazy. It's probably been a rough summer, if I'm honest. But hey, I love what I do. I love who I am. I love what I'm fighting for. I die for it. So it is what, damn near I almost did a few weeks ago. But hey, it is what it is. So again, if you believe in the work, show some love and donate. If you like what you heard, click the like button. If you feel you can help someone else, share it and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Oh, show some love. Come on, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. Don't you dare get off. Hit it. On that note, thank you guys. I'm out of here.